just like I was spellbound, all the odds were against me.
Hey guys, it's your girl Cheyenne from Plant My Happy Space. Welcome back to the channel. If you're not already, please subscribe. I would really appreciate it. I want to see some more of you guys. Hopefully you want to see some more of me. You can also follow me on Instagram if you want at Plant My Happy Space. I'll have it linked down below. I post my plants on there very frequently, so if you ever want to see more plant pics or sneak peeks of what'll be coming in my future videos and the journey of some of my house plants, please follow me. It's a cool time over there. Today, I am going to do an update video on the plants that I've ordered from Indonesia. I have a couple unboxing videos on my channel that I will also have linked down below. And the two that I'm going to talk about today are Instagram plant sellers from Indonesia, which are Laksa Plant Seller and Boganapotplants. I'm going to show you and describe to you what those plants looked like when they first arrived, and I'm going to show you what they look like now a couple of months later. We're going to start off with the plants that I got from Laksa Plant Seller back in April. We're going to start with my Philodendron Glorious, which is Melanochrysum crossed with Gloriosum. When this plant arrived to me, it had 3 fully mature and hardened off leaves and 1 growth tip that was about to unfurl. It arrived in basically perfect condition, no yellow leaves, nothing like that, and it appeared great. And it transitioned very well to my house. It has all 3 leaves that it came with when it arrived. The growth tip that did unfurl eventually does look slightly warped, but that's pretty common for the leaf that is kind of in progress while it's shipped. And then it is in the middle of hardening off a leaf that was completely in my care. So it hasn't hardened off yet, but it is completely unfurled. This one was definitely a successful plant. I was really happy I got it. It's a huge specimen and it didn't lose any of its leaves in the acclimation process. So this one was a win. The next plant that I got from Laksa Plant Seller was a Philodendron Melanochrysum. When it arrived to me, it had 6 fully mature leaves. The top leaf was slightly bent due to packaging, but none of the leaves were yellow and they all looked like they showed up in perfect condition. And this is what I am left with. So after that plant arrived and I potted it up, the bottom 3 leaves out of the 6 started to yellow and fall off. So I went into rescue mode and I decided that I was just going to chop up the plant and start from scratch, and that is what I did. So the 3 nodes where the leaves had fallen off, I kind of did like a wet stick propagation method on those, and with propagations not all of them will make it. So out of those 3 that I did wet stick propagations, 1 of them did rot and die. The other 2 have started putting out new little baby leaves that are only like half an inch long and they're so adorable. But I'm going to wait until those probably have at least 3 leaves on them before I attempt to give them away or to sell them. Out of the 3 that still had leaves, I put all of them into water propagations. 1 of them did not make it. The other 2 did fully root. This is 1 of them. And the other one I gifted to a plant friend here on YouTube, Nicole over at My Clean Leaves. It was on her wish list, so I decided to send that over to her. So she got one almost identical to this one with this size of a leaf. And this one is the only one I'm keeping for myself. And it does have new growth that is about to pop out. And I'm super excited about that. I was pretty pissed off when the plant started to decline when it arrived. Mainly because usually philodendrons are a little bit more resilient. But after doing my research, I learned that the mature specimens of melanochrysums are a lot more sensitive when they ship. Now, if you had a more immature one, it would react the same as every other philodendron and ship more or less in great condition. But because this one was so mature, it did not handle being shipped very well. All right, so the next one was an Anthurium Crystallinum. When it showed up, it had 4 fully mature leaves and 1 leaf that had just started to unfurl. Now, the one that was in the middle of unfurling did never progress, which is not uncommon. And 3 out of the 4 original leaves died off immediately. And we are left with 1 of its original leaves. Now, this does not upset me or surprise me. Frankly, I'm surprised it even showed up in as good of condition as it did. Anthuriums are renowned for A, not shipping well, and B, dropping all of their leaves and turning into a stump upon arrival. It's pretty nice when they don't do that, but it's common enough to lose all the leaves that I don't really get upset when it happens when I order Anthuriums online, especially from other countries. So it does have 1 leaf left, and frankly, it didn't do anything for quite a while. It was just kind of maintaining this 1 leaf, which is already good on it. You know, it kept 1 of its original leaves. But now it is pushing new growth, and it has 2 growth points at once. And I am so flippin' excited about this. This one is probably going to unfurl here soon, and this one is still a growth tip, but the size of them are so similar that they will probably still be, one of them will probably be unfurling while the other one is still unfurling or hardening off. So I'm super excited about this one, and this one is definitely not a failure in my mind. The next one was a Philodendron Soderoy. And that one arrived with 2 mature leaves and 1 leaf that was in the middle of unfurling. And today, it still has both of the original leaves. The one that was in the middle of unfurling did eventually harden off, but it is slightly warped. And it has put out 1 new leaf in my care. And that leaf is perfect. It is slightly smaller than the original leaves, but there could be all kinds of different factors that are making it this small. I do have this in a roughly 65% humidity area with high light. So in theory, it should be able to push out large leaves, but it is stemming from the warped leaf. So I'm assuming at this point that it was still recovering from the warped leaf, which is why it is still such a small leaf. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that the next leaf it puts out is a little bit closer to the size of the original leaves now that it's acclimated to my home. The next one I got was an Aetherium Crystallinum mixed with a Magnificum. And if you saw the video where I unboxed these plants, that was the infamous spider plant. I don't even know what kind of bug that is. That's a big ass spider is what that is. When this plant arrived, it had 4 leaves. One of them was already completely yellowed and basically dead, but it had 3 good leaves. It is now spider-free and down to 1 of its original leaves. It has sustained this leaf for a couple months now, but it has not pushed out new growth for me yet. I'm not too concerned, but I'm hoping it does push growth soon. Otherwise, I might start to worry a little bit. The next one I ordered claimed to be a Calathea mackiana, or a peacock plant. I had a couple people comment in the unboxing video that Calathea didn't look like a Calathea mackiana, and frankly, I am not 100% sure. It may just simply be a mackiana that looks a little bit different, or it could be a completely different plant. But nevertheless, this is what it looked like when it showed up. It had a couple of leaves. I think it had about 6 or 7 little leaves, and it frankly looked like it was in great condition when it showed up. The roots were a little dehydrated, but other than that, it looked like I could just pot it up and it would be fine. Unfortunately, that was not the case. I potted it up and almost all the leaves died immediately, and the plant was not salvageable, unfortunately. So that one was definitely a loss for that shipment. All right, the next one I received in that package was a Philodendron Glorious. And when it arrived, it had 5 very small leaves and a very, very, very small root system. When I potted it up, it did not acclimate well, and it essentially lost everything, all the roots and all the leaves. So it was essentially just a node. I went into rescue mode and put that single node with no leaves or roots into sphagnum moss and put this in my humidity dome. So it is a little dome that has a heat mat at the bottom, grow light on the top, both of which are on 24/7. So it really pushes and saves my on the verge dead plants. And I am happy to say that I have saved it. It has shown itsy bitsy teeny weeny little bit of growth, and it does have some roots. I'm obviously going to wait for it to get bigger than this before I take it out of the humidity dome, but I technically still have a living Glorious, so yay for me. So the last one I received from this unboxing was a Philodendron golden ceratum. I had actually never seen or heard of this until the seller sent it to me as my free plant with all the other plants. But when it arrived, it had 5 leaves, I believe, but one of them was pretty dried out, so it was going to drop anyways. And it did have a small growth point. Today, other than the leaf that was dried up and going to fall off anyways, it looks almost exactly the same. It has the rest of the 4 leaves and the single growth point. It has not deteriorated, but it has not grown either, so it has been pretty stagnant since I got it. All right, so now we're going to move on to the plants that I got from the second Indonesia seller, which was Boganapotplants. The first plant I received from them was a variegated Alocasia frydek, and I did not receive that plant, basically. It was completely mush. 100% of it was mush. Not a single part of that plant was salvageable, and that really, really upset me because that was one of the ones I was really looking forward to. So I have nothing to show for that plant today. The next one I received from Boganapotplants was a Monstera deliciosa aria, so it's the one with the yellow variegation. Again, this is one I was really looking forward to, and I am still on the hunt for, because this one showed up and it was clearly damaged, but I thought it was salvageable. Both of the leaves had rot and the roots had rot, but I hoped if I cut enough of it off that I could save it. However, it did deteriorate very quickly. Within maybe 2 days of me cutting off all the rot and trying to save it, the whole thing was rotted through. So I had hope for that one, but unfortunately I am still on the hunt for that one now. The next one I received was an Alocasia dragon scale, so the all green one. And when it arrived, it had 2 leaves, one of which had fallen off during shipping, but they were both clearly yellowed and going to die anyways. So when both of the leaves fell off, I did take it and put it in my humidity dome just like the Glorious to see if I could get some better roots on it and possibly grow new leaves. And this is what we have now. Now, the original leaves were bigger than the size of my hand, so this is significantly smaller. However, it is not warped in any way. It is beautiful, and it is already pushing out a second leaf. When the second leaf unfurls, I will take it out of the sphagnum moss and out of the humidity dome and pot it up like normal, but I want to wait till that second leaf unfurls and hardens off before I transition it. I am so happy I was able to save this one. The last plant that I did buy from Indonesia was a Philodendron Florida Beauty. When it arrived, it had 2 leaves, both of which had started to go a little mushy and a little brown, and I did lose one of the leaves. However, I did cut the mushy bits off of the second leaf and also put that one into the humidity dome. It does appear like I was able to save that plant. I did just recently, a couple of days ago, transition it out of the humidity dome and put it into leca. So this is the original leaf that I was able to save. It is not the sexiest leaf because it is pretty cut up. However, it has started to grow a new leaf. Now, it has not fully come out of its sheath yet or unfurled yet, so I don't know how much of the variegation it still has. However, the stem is still pretty variegated, so if this one is not super variegated, I will probably just leave it and let it push out a couple of more and let it get its bearings and root down a little bit before I start chopping and pushing for more variegation. All right, guys, that's it for me. I know unboxings are very helpful, but I'm hoping updated progress reports are also very helpful because certain plants might show up in the perfect condition, but unfortunately, you know, that can be deceiving. Things don't always transition well. Things don't always push beautiful growth, but I'm hoping that this was a helpful video. If it was helpful, if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Comment down below any thoughts you may have. Comment any ideas you guys want to see for future videos. Also, I am always taking questions for Q&A videos. So if you have any questions you'd like me to include in future videos, please leave those down there as well. For now, that's it for me. I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace out.
No, no, I'm about to explode.